Okay, that's good. And just setting up real quick before I start talking. Hi, Lucas. How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. It's nice seeing you around. All right. Give me a second. I need to do my setup. All right. Looks like I'm ready. And I'm starting to stream on Steemit. Good. That's good. We are set. Okay. So, Ryan, I know you were streaming. I'm sorry. You should keep streaming regardless if I'm going to stream. We're going to overlap. Man, that's a good thing. James is going to be on, probably starting in about half an hour to an hour. We might overlap with me and him. Ryan, you're going to need to step up. You already are in big ways, more than one. Susie Dawson requested some help from everyone who's in our group. She said my crew, but I told her it's not my crew. I mean, you guys are doing your own thing. I'm doing my own thing. We just all help each other out. We're all part of the same team. No one is in charge. We're all equals, and we're all fighting for the same thing. Get rid of the corruption. Get rid of the corruption. Get rid of the corruption. We can't have nice things until we get rid of corruption. We can't have government whichever way you want, whether you're a communist, if you're a socialist, if you're a Democrat, Republican, dictatorship, authoritarian, whatever. We can't get rid of that until we can't have any of those things unless we get rid of the corruption. So that's our first goal. Now, one of the things that I really digged about yesterday with Susie Dawson, Elizabeth Voss, and everything that everyone behind the scenes did, and everyone who joined the online vigil did, was they united across different lines, and that's a good start. And that's what we need to do. And we got to stop thinking about either ourselves, our own ideology, our own hate towards one another, or whatnot. The reason that we hate each other is because we find differences on how to fight the douchebags, the assholes, the cunts, the whatever you want to call them. That's why we're mad at each other. We're not mad at each other because we see each other doing it. You know, we're the ones that are trying to get justice. I always keep thinking of truth, justice, an American way. You know, I'm a big Superman fan back in the day, and it's like, you can't have that anymore. I think if you're going for, if you're going to help, if you're with the Reconnect Julian, here's why you need to defend the Becks. And I want to create a hashtag defend the Becks. I want to create a real militia, and I've been doing some research on a militia in the U.S. and it's interesting. And I don't know if you're going to be able to follow me all the way on it yet, because it is going to be hella tough. And within that, the strategy overall for the powers that be that want to control us and oppress us, and that they are doing a good job, it's the divide and conquer strategy. And they are dividing us, and they are conquering us one by one. The only way to stop it, we can't keep defending ourselves, defending others. We have to counter. We have to counterattack. And the only way we do that is to unite. So it's one step, one person at a time, group up together, fight injustice, fight corruption. And they're the only one, and there's just so much. There's just so much to dive into and piecemeal together just to get everyone my point. Um, First, the reason why we need to defend the Becks, and the Becks are having a hard time. They are out of it. They are out. I mean, they are in it, but as far as like their support, they don't get it. And we're all guilty of it. It's just we're always asking ourselves, what can we do? What can we do? We all feel so powerless. We're going against billionaires, trillion. If you combine all of them, they're probably trillionaire group. They control all the money, and they have consolidated power now. They control the airwaves, the media. So what are we gonna do? The only thing that we have is each other. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much power you have. If the people don't follow you, all that money and all that power is useless. So that's why we need to unite. Now, the importance of WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, and how it goes down to the next step with the Becks, Elizabeth and Jared Beck. They're the ones who do the DNC lawsuit. They're the ones who started it. But do you know what they're using the basis of the DNC lawsuit? They're using WikiLeaks. They're using the information in WikiLeaks in order to push and make sure that the DNC are guilty of fraud. And can you imagine, just take a step back, can you imagine WikiLeaks being used in court, in the US legal system, in order to get the DNC fraud lawsuit? I mean, to get justice for what the DNC did with the 2016 primary election. That's huge. That would be one of the only times that I know of, maybe you guys know of something else, the only time that I know of where WikiLeaks is actually used in a legitimate case and against one of the powers that be. I mean, people on the left, and especially people on the right, hate the Democrats. So why can't we unite on that and defend the Becks? And so in order to do that, we really need a militia, a real working militia. And I'm talking about you're on the line. You might be sacrificing yourself. And the thing is that we need a lot of support, because for a civilian military, they're not really a military, they're just a civilian force to defend people who are against corruption, against injustice. We need it. And they're security firms, they're all corporations, they all get to carry weapons on them. They have these special permits. They could go in places where weapons are not allowed. It's an exception for them. We can't have that as a people. We can't have that with our Second Amendment. We got to overstep all of that and make sure that they can't take all the people who are fighting in the front lines, and we just watch them do it. We can't. This has gotten to me because what I wanted was the Becks. I was just inviting everyone during that 10-hour live stream of the online vigil for Julian Assange, the Reconnect Julian. And I texted H.A. Goodman, I texted Tim Black, I DM'd a lot of people as I could. Christian Zaldivar was doing the same thing. I just used everything as I could. I didn't care about what bad blood we might have, or if I am low on the totem pole. I am very low on the totem pole, but I didn't care. I'm just gonna ask. I'm gonna tell them who's on, and see if Susie Dawson's okay with it. And that was that. So I still had connections with Elizabeth Beck, because she's awesome. She is such an awesome woman. I can't explain it as good as probably Nico could, because Nico works with them both. So I just kind of want to show people something. And this will be kind of sad. I don't know if I should, but you know, I'm not one that thinks about should and more towards I am gonna. All right, left. Okay, I'm gonna go left. So I was chatting with so I did what I could to see if Elizabeth Beck um, would get on the online vigil, and screw it, I'm gonna share. So here you can see if you or Jared would like to get on to say a few words and support Julian Assange, so I can get you Zoom info. So far, it's been a 9+ hour stream. It was a long time. All the people who are on, and Elizabeth Beck was kind of replied back saying no thank you, she's not a political activist, but thanks for the invite. She's in Seoul right now, and I did see a tweet where she was on a plane with Jared Beck, and she wants to stay there permanently. I mean, can you imagine that? And so, you know, I understand, and you know, I see all those videos of people eating live squid, and I'm like, you know, just don't eat the live squid. And she says, this stuff is delicious. I've been eating my way through Seoul and haven't gained an ounce. The city is off the hook, and everyone is so nice. You should wish me to stay safe once I return to the States. I've never felt safer here. Hi, Fly. Um, the, safer here than in a long time. And here's that's what kills me, is someone who feels so much safer outside the country they're born in, and that country is the United States of America, folks. She says, I realize just how dysfunctional and hopeless things are in the States now that I've been here. I can't believe I spent over 10 years practicing law in a country that has taken joy in abusing me and stemming my best efforts to be helpful. In America, if America will shit on me, I will take my legal skills where they're deeply appreciated. Since you think live squid is disgusting, you probably won't fit in as well here. I love live squid. And I said, I love cooked squid. You know, I used to eat cooked squid all the time. It's called ojingo, I think so, in Korean. But live squid gives me the chills. I'm so glad. I hate how it is here. And wish you were safer in the US. I can't believe that's how it is here. You two seem to be in the lion's den. I'm talking about Florida, especially in Debbie Wasserman Schultz's. Anyways, oh, Christian. Okay, maybe she was born in Korea. I did not know that. She speaks so good English. But still, she's a citizen in the US. That's why I'm saying that she just feels safer there. It's just incredible to me. I know what you did and appreciate it a lot, what you and both Jared do. And then I laugh because then I wouldn't quite fit in there because I don't like live squid, but I don't quite fit in anywhere if people haven't really noticed. She says, sorry, Bon. And I say, you don't have to be sorry. If any rate, you need to call on me. You know, I'll do what I can to help. I am moving in the middle of nowhere, Columbus, but I'm going to work full time on activist activities. And just an FYI, thank you for what you and Jared do, truly. And then she said, yeah, I didn't do it out of charity. I know she didn't. I know people think Jared and I are a couple of idealistic, stupid people they can take advantage of, but those days are coming to an end. Motherfuckers, you're not going to hear her saying it. She's so awesome. Think liking a Facebook post is supporting us. I don't need support. I need a functioning legal system, and that you cannot give me. You stay safe, Bar. And I'm hoping we can do that. Sorry. Give me a second. Fly, if you want to say something.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard time for a lot of people in understanding that there's not much a lot of us can do. There's nobody that we can contact, nobody that we can blow the whistle to that's going to come and save the day. It's all up to us.
Yeah.
And so you can definitely see why they would want to take away the Second Amendment rights, the First Amendment rights. They'd want to shut everybody up and make sure that nobody could ever pull guerrilla tactics. For those people that are out there that constantly say that there's no way that anybody here in the United States could stand up to the United States military, take a look at Afghanistan. Take a look at Iraq. You are seeing guerrilla warfare, and it's actually working. They held back the Russian military in Afghanistan. They're still holding back the United States military. There is a way.
Yeah. There is. We're not only are we spread everywhere, we're spread thin as far as our military is concerned. And
absolutely,
it's a consolidated power. They don't have power unless they have a concentrated effort and within their own country to be able to travel to different areas to take down any type of uprising against we're getting towards that. We're getting towards that authoritarian, totalitarian
yes, we are.
Type of country. And
yeah, absolutely we are.
Whether we can or can't, it's not the point. At that point, we have no choice. We don't.
Yep.
So,
especially if it's a fight for our lives.
Yeah. Not just ours. Like, I don't really care about mine. I care about my family's.
Yep.
And everyone else does too. So,
I think a lot of us that have gone into becoming heavily activists realize that there's a good chance we may not make it out of this alive. It's a sacrifice that we're willing to make. We're willing to take on the government targeting us. We're willing to take on the government trying to suppress us.
Yeah.
And we're ready to lay down our lives for our family, for our friends, for the people that we love and care for. We all hope that it wouldn't come down to this. We all hope that there would be another means, and I do believe there are some peaceful means that we can try before anything like that. But don't let them take away your rights. Don't let them take away other people's rights. Don't fall into this totalitarianism, which there's a totalitarianism on the left. There's a totalitarianism on the right. And don't become what they call a useful idiot.
Yeah.
Useful idiots are the ones that want to take away something else from somebody else. Let's talk about Roe versus Wade. Let's talk about the fact of choice versus pro-life, since this is one that so many people are going to actually stand behind. There is another extreme. We're talking about the choice is the fulcrum of the balance. The choice is a choice. You can either force people to not be able to have abortions, or you can force people to have abortions. Choice is in the middle. Choice is where you have freedom, when you have that choice. So let's talk about guns, the one that some other people inside here are going to agree with me on, and several others are not going to agree with me on. You can either be forced to have a gun inside your house, like in Switzerland. Yes, they do force you to have a gun inside your house and be ready to defend Switzerland. So are you being forced to have a gun inside your house? No, you have a choice. And those that want to take away those guns are the ones that are on the opposite side of that fulcrum and saying, we want to take away every single one of these guns in the United States of America. We want to have these regulations. What did Hillary tell Bernie Sanders when he started, when he voted against the bill to stop or to charge gun manufacturers with murder if their guns ever ended up committing a murder?
Yep.
She said it was a part of a strategy. Stop being a useful idiot and playing into their strategy.
Yep.
Stop calling for everybody's rights to be taken away. You want to take away somebody's rights on speech? Oh, I'm okay with speech except for hate speech. Did our dictionaries suddenly become null and void that oh wait, this is a hate speech. This is a hate word.
Mhm.
Stop calling for everybody else's rights to be taken away. You may not want your right. You may not exercise your right. Look at how many Republicans said, I don't really care. And I'm sorry to say this for Republicans. How many of them said, I don't care if they spy on me. I don't have anything to hide. So go ahead and take away my Fourth Amendment right. Now we're seeing it happen. Stop calling for other people to be forced one way or another. Choice is the option. Choice is freedom.
And here's the thing: is a lot of that stuff is due to the fault of not enforcing it correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are doing it already, it's illegal already. Yeah. People who are doing illegal activities. And the only ones you're hurting are the ones who are law-abiding. You're taking away rights from the people who are law-abiding citizens. The ones who aren't law-abiding, they're going to do it anyway, regardless if they have the right or not. They don't care about whether they have the right or not. They're not looking for defense. They're looking for, they want to take something away from people, and they're going to take something away from people who give away their rights.
Yep.
So I kind of want to continue on now that I can a little bit. So if people didn't know Nico House, he was assaulted by a police officer. Charges against him, or whatever it was dropped. I wish I knew the details, and I hope he shares those details, and I figure he will when he gets to them. One thing that I did see, if you guys don't follow him, and I've kind of been out of it for a while, so just kind of getting back into following everyone. He created a new website, a new Twitter. You can follow him now, also, as well as at MSSC Network. It's kind of your one stop for politics, and I believe he's teamed up with Tim Black, Holly Seelager, Let's Talk Sense, and DC DeGraff. This is the site. It's good. I like to see them uniting. Like I said, I don't care. Just unite and counter whatever way you can. So he, being a part of it, being a journalist, supporting people like Julian Assange, supporting people like Jared and Elizabeth Beck. He's part of that, being in that lion's den, that really tough spot where he really doesn't have protection, and we're not organized. We're not taking that stance to do it, and I feel sorry that I can't. I think once I get to Nebraska, get everything settled, I'm gonna try to form some sort of organized militia. I know that sounds silly and crazy, but I'm willing to go there for my first tour. If Jared and Elizabeth Beck and Nico House, they're okay with it, I'll go down there. I'll arm myself, and I'll do whatever I can to defend them for a first month. It's like my one tour of duty. I need other people to do it, but if no one's stepping up, I have to, and they get people else to go up there, do the same thing, and it just takes. It'd be nice if everyone can do it. People have families. I have family, but we all got to take that time just to volunteer and just support people who really need that support.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can't defend her from the legal system or the corruption, but when they come after her because of their corruption or them, I just want there to be people to stop them. They'd have to go through 5, 6, hopefully 10, whatever bodyguards there are, security, military. Now I wouldn't say military, militia, and that's going to be a big thing in any news. They're going to have to bring their tanks, and people are going to be laying down their lives, and it's just going to be a bloody mess. But it's going to start something, either protect them or we just let them get captured. Where, that people who have to tell the truth of the lies or the corruption that goes within our government, that the government is so non-transparent that they have to go to Russia Russia, of all places, to keep doing what they're doing, they have to go to Ecuadorian embassy and
Yeah.
not in the US. They can't just be here in the US where freedom is a liberty. I mean, or we're the so-called land of the free, and we can't be free to tell the public what's going on, all the hideousness that's going on, the stuff that's illegal, the stuff that's yeah, it just kills me. But we're small. We're just, and what are we gonna do? Well, we can't really tell people what to do. We just have to do it and then hope that other people come on and start stepping up. I mean, it's gonna be too late one way or another. There's going to be bloodshed. There's going to be rights taken away. There's going to be more death. It may not even be blood being shed. It might just be a slow death, death of attrition. People are getting poorer. People are having less options for healthcare.
The population of homeless is just growing astronomically.
Yeah, debt is rising. Personal debt.
Yes.
I mean, we're just being constricted to death. And some people are just waiting it out for as long as they can. But I think there's some of us that see that, you know, if it gets to that point, we're just weaker at that point. You know, it's just that it's like, imagine if you're in a war and you're hungry, you're tired, and you could either wait for a year, however long that winter is, to attack again, or you attack now before it gets to that winter. You know,
absolutely, like a siege.
Yep, it's a siege. And so we can't wait it out. It's a war of attrition that we won't win because they have everything. So we just can't really wait. And the ones who are attacking, that are sieging the castle, whatever you want to call it, that's the Becks. They're the only ones using WikiLeaks against the system. And we all know the DNC committed fraud. And it just hasn't gone through the legal system yet. And of course, we get to see how the legal system reacts. Sorry, Fly. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just agreeing with you.
Another thing that I saw with the Reconnect Julian, and you might have seen it, Fly, is I was looking through Google News just to see what mainstream media might be saying about Reconnect Julian, because I just did Google searches Reconnect Julian if people want to see Reconnect Julian. Let me go here. Reconnect Julian. This is the first one that I saw, which is this. So that's basically what I'm showing you guys. So when you guys see me sharing with an open tab, it is real. I'm just pre-prepping or prepping, whatever. So, and obviously it's not any mainstream media covering it, of course. It's or anything in the US. But even though it doesn't mention Susie Dawson or the online vigil and all that occurred, I mean, history of, I don't think anyone's really done anything that Susie did last night or 2 nights ago. A 10-hour live stream of just so many truth tellers. So here it tells how, I'll just read it out, I guess. Noam Chomsky, Slavov Zizek. I wish I could say a lot of these people's names. Brian Eno and other prominent figures are demanding the WikiLeaks founder be reconnected to the outside world. A group of prominent intellectuals, social activists, and artists have signed an open letter demanding Ecuador's government restore WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's internet and phone access, allow him visits, and respect his right to freedom of expression. If it was ever clear that the case of Julian Assange was never just a legal case, but a struggle for the protection of basic human rights, it is now, the letter reads. The letter was signed by prominent intellectuals Noam Chomsky and Slavov Zizek, as well as rock musician Brian Eno, filmmaker Oliver Stone, former CIA analyst Ray McGovern, actress Pamela Anderson, and former Greek finance minister Yanis Varoufakis. Ecuador cut off Assange's internet access, his window to the outside world, arguing he violated his promise to refrain from commenting on political issues. The Ecuadorian government argues that Assange's comments could compromise Latin American nations' relations with other countries, especially in Europe. If the Ecuadorian government does not cease its unworthy action, it will too become an agent of persecution rather than the valiant nation that stood up for freedom and for free speech, the letter said. The signatories claim Ecuador's actions suggest that pressure was placed on the government by the United States. Under its previous president, the Ecuadorian government bravely stood against the bullying might of the United States and granted Assange political asylum as a political refugee. International law and the morality of human rights was on its side. Assange has been a promoter of international social movements, including Catalonia's fight for independence, for which he has been criticized by Spanish authorities. His critical tweets about the recent detention of Catalan President Carles Puigdemont in Germany and following pressure from the US, Spanish, and UK governments, the Ecuadorian government has installed an electronic jammer to stop Assange communicating with the outside world via the internet and phone. The letter continues. Assange recently criticized Germany's decision to arrest Puigdemont on behalf of the Spanish government, a few days before Ecuador cut off his access to the outside world. Assange tweeted a response to the UK Deputy Foreign Minister with responsibility for Europe and the Americas, Alan Duncan, who called Assange a miserable little worm. As a political prisoner, detained without charge for 8 years in violation of 2 UN rulings, I suppose I must be miserable, yet nothing with being a little person. Yet nothing wrong with being a little person, although I'm rather tall and better a worm, a healthy creature that invigorates the soil than a snake. Assange tweeted on Tuesday. And that guy is awesome. The letter also demands Assange's human rights be respected as an Ecuadorian citizen and an internationally protected person, and asks Ecuadorian President Lenin Moreno to end the isolation of Julian Assange now. If there's no freedom of speech for Julian Assange, there's no freedom of speech for any of us, regardless of the desperate opinions we hold, it reads. Assange and the United Nations considers the WikiLeaks founder to be under arbitrary detention in an Ecuadorian embassy since 2012, a description of his situation rejected by British authorities. The UK says he voluntarily went into the building and could leave anytime if he is prepared to face the consequences of his actions. Swedish prosecutors opened a rape case against Assange, but dropped it later as evidence crumbled. He has never been charged with a crime, and his supporters claim he's being internationally prosecuted because of his status as a whistleblower. And then here is a list of signatories that I guess this the author of this article pieced together, which is Pamela Anderson, actress and activist, Jacob Applebaum, freelance journalist, Renata Avila, international human rights lawyer, Sally Birch, British Ecuadorian journalist, Alicia Castro, Argentina's ambassador to the UK 2012 to 2016, Naomi Colvin, Courage Foundation, Noam Chomsky, linguist and political theorist, Brian Eno, musician, Joseph Farrell, WikiLeaks ambassador and board member of the Center for Investigative Journalism, Teresa Forcadas, Benedictine nun, Montessori, Chris Hedges, journalist, Shreka Horvat, philosopher, democracy and Europe movement, Jean-Michel Jarre, I don't know if I say it right, musician, John Kiriakou, former CIA counterterrorism officer and former senior investigator, U.S. Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, Laurie Love, a computer scientist and activist, Ray McGovern, former CIA analyst, presidential advisor, John Pilger, journalist and filmmaker, Angela Rector, theater director, Germany, Saskia Sassen, sociologist, Columbia University, Oliver Stone, filmmaker, Vaughn Smith, English journalist, Yanis Varoufakis, economist, former Greek finance minister, Natalia Viana, investigative journalist and co-director of Agência Pública Brazil, Vivian Westwood, fashion designer and activist, and Slavoj Zizek, philosopher, Birkbeck Institute for Humanities. Now, while that's all nice and good, I also want to point to a piece of shit here called James Ball. Here's his little opinion piece, and people who don't know who he is, I don't know how to explain it better than, well, he's been in, he's worked for BuzzFeed. I guess he worked for WikiLeaks when he was really young for, like, I don't know exactly how long, few days.
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes? It wasn't even a day. It was 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and then if you actually see of like when you see articles of him where he's describing how he worked with WikiLeaks and how much he knew Assange and talks about Assange, and
he was a volunteer.
Yeah. I mean, if you read about this guy, that guy is that guy. Yeah, I can't say curse words good enough to warrant what I could.
Trust me, I agree and I understand.
So I just want you people to just kind of see just some of the types of pronouns, I guess you would say, that he would say. Hey Eric, how's it going?
Hey Eric.
So the WikiLeaks founder is being treated like a grounded teen. He should hold his hands up and leave the embassy. this guy is telling Julian Assange what he should do. Hi, how's it going, Eric?
Doing pretty good.
You could call that guy a cunt if you want.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's a cunt. Like, also, what's his name again?
Cunt is too good of a word for him, in my opinion. Okay,
James Ball.
Ball.
Yeah, he has corporate balls in his mouth. He's stuck in the corporate ball. Yep, there he goes, like slurping on those slurping on the corporate balls, the share blue balls.
All right, let me read it. Get you guys a little bit more incensed, maybe motivated for some more or something. All right, convincing yourself and the world. This is me reading, not me saying. That you're a major political player on a global stage is a tough task when you're confined to a back bedroom. It's an act that Julian Assange has been trying for years, and one which is increasingly starting to have consequences on the WikiLeaks founder. Assange had his internet access cut off by the state of Ecuador's embassy in London for a second time, the first being a result of WikiLeaks' intervention in the U.S. election with the leak of emails from the Hillary Clinton campaign. And, oh, look, he said at least it's a leak of emails, not a hack. And Assange's tweets expressing political preference. Ecuador, not wanting to get dragged into this political row, cut off Assange's internet access and made him sign an undertaking not to get involved with the politics of other countries, only for the WikiLeaks Twitter account and Assange's personal account to tweet about Catalonian independence and Britain's expulsion of Russian diplomats. As a result, Assange has once again had his internet access stopped, and embassies reportedly turning away visitors, including Vivienne Westwood, who want to see him. The move tells us much about Assange's psychology and how it clashes with the reality of his day-to-day life. Assange would like to be seen as a figure on the world stage, from equal stature to those he leaks and tweets about. Footage in Laura Poitras' documentary on Assange's risk showed him insisting he speak with Clinton directly when she was Secretary of State to discuss the forthcoming cable leaks. The desire to be part of the conversation, a focus of attention, is marked by the Assange. Look, I don't think Assange really wanted to be in the situation he's in. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to just read it out before I comment on it. The desire to be Assange is a man who would rather be viewed with suspicion. Is he working with people at the top of Putin's government? That not being thought of at all, or worse yet, to be thought of as a cat's paw of a greater power. Sorry, I missed this part. WikiLeaks constant tweeting mysterious insurance codes, strange hints at contacts with intelligence agencies, and more, usually when the world is talking about a huge story that has no connection to WikiLeaks. Right. So the realities of Assange's day-to-day life, though, reveal that that is exactly what he has become in many ways. There's good evidence in the public domain, as well as testimony from intelligence agencies across the world that Russian state-sponsored hackers obtained campaign emails from Clinton, which were later published by WikiLeaks and came to dominate months of coverage of the U.S. election. No one has offered any good evidence that WikiLeaks knowingly cooperated with the Russian government in this effort, but the simple alternative explanation is a hurtful one to Assange's ego. The documents would simply be presented to WikiLeaks from a hacking group, and the knowledge that WikiLeaks wouldn't ask too many awkward questions. Who needs an accomplice when you have unwitting and useful tool on hand? Assange's position with Ecuador is weaker still. When he entered the embassy in December 2012, a few weeks after the country's then president jokingly invited him to seek asylum in Ecuador. During a Russia Today interview, Assange was a useful symbol to shore up Ecuador's anti-U.S. position to South American allies, especially as he was still then a hero to many on the left. There has since been a change in government, a change in Assange's public image, and years of daily frustrations between a man who has been called the world's worst house guest and a country not known for respecting a free media. As early as 2015, documents leaked from Ecuador's intelligence agency showed that Assange was facing minute-by-minute surveillance on all his activities in the embassy, all of which were being sent back to Ecuador daily. The documents also logged Assange clashing with embassy staff, breaking into secure rooms, and more. The man who would like to portray himself as a stateless challenger of power has found himself in the same position as a grounded teenager. Ecuador decides who he sees, what can be in his room, even when he washes and tidies up, a regular source of friction. Additionally, for someone trying to offer safety to whistleblowers around the world, he is a stationary target for world's intelligence agencies, any of them able to piggyback on Ecuador's surveillance or create a new surveillance of their own and track what his site is up to. Assange lives in a world of dissonance, right down to his reasons for being in the embassy. He talks of being a political prisoner, but has been under house arrest for 7 years due to his work for free speech. In reality, he fled from justice, having decided not to face Swedish authorities over an investigation into rape and sexual assault. Reconciling Assange's version of events with reality is an all but impossible task, and when Ecuador has been trying to unravel as it finds a way to end its stay. As Ecuadorian patience continues to crumble, Assange may soon find reality will come to bite. Ball is a former Guardian Special Projects editor. That's what he says. This is from the Guardian. Piece of shit article, opinion article. He can only say this as an opinion because if it was just the one based on facts, it would be fake news. And then if
I would say lousy opinion.
Yeah. And let's see his Twitter account, and look, he says,
I didn't even know who the person was until this article. I was like, huh?
Yeah, I've seen him in some like YouTube videos where they really rail on this guy, where he made like a BuzzFeed video that was horrible. And they would just go off on all of this guy's points. That's where I remember him from. I didn't know he was and then I looked at his thing and it says WikiLeaks. And he, of course, he has a book, Post-Truth, the center's leading intellectual light. Huck? And he's a huckster. Anyways, all this stuff, and he tells about how he was like a journalist or wanting aspiring journalist at age of 16 and all that crap. Anyways, that gets my blood boiling. If you guys don't know or haven't noticed.
All I can really say is weapons of mass destruction. Our government always tells us the truth. Believe the United States government. They would not lie to you.
Yeah.
They would not ever steal money from you. They would never ever let the economy go down on purpose. Wow.
And look what fucking happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's all I really wanted to say. I do know that James will be having his live stream up, and Ryan, if you're watching, do not stop on account of me. I just want to tell people, I thank every one of you guys for being here, helping out. The great thing about what I do is I don't have to. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys to do anything, and I'm not going to tell you guys to do anything. I just ask, and most of you are ready to go at a moment's notice. Yes, I'm going to help, especially with Susie Dawson. It's like, yep.
I appreciate every single bit of that. I really, really do. You all are so wonderful, and I feel blessed to have you all as friends.
Yeah,
me too.
And here's the thing. Here's where when you're really an activist, when you really know, you're not paid for it. You're not getting money for it. You're not asking up front is like, okay, so how much money am I going to get out of this? Or, hey, what am I going to get in return? Nope. You go and you help out as much as you can to whoever needs it, and you do it. That's the power of activism. That's you get things at a moment's notice, and you're ready, and you're gone, and you're doing it. And
absolutely. Did any of us actually think that we were going to become activists at any point in our lives?
no.
Look at the tweeter in chief right here, and how all he helps out. Oh my gosh!
I was tweeting up a storm, but it wasn't anything Stormy Daniels related, though.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm in the middle of a move. I'm moving. I have a moving truck coming on Wednesday. I have to pack and be ready to go. The day after, I'm still working throughout the day. The day after, I'm going to be flying to Nebraska, be there for 10 days. Then I'm flying back, working, fixing up this place for the landlord and helping her out. She's old and she needs help. She was tired. She couldn't even paint the bathroom, so I helped paint the bathroom. So once that's done, I'm flying back to Nebraska. Then I'm working full-time activist stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. As far as, I mean, I have an idea, but then like, how am I getting money is another thing. But I figure software, I'll just build something, try to get some money off of that, keep going. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to find a contract for like 3 months, work somewhere, come back, focus on activist activities. One thing for sure is I want to contact Nico, talk to him. I know he's looking for people to contact. I just want to show real quick that he did do a tweet, and if everyone who is watching now could retweet what he did.
Tweet is this?
I'm trying to find it.
If I can make a suggestion for you, Ebon, Susie has a Steemit club on
Discord. I'm in it.
Oh, you are? Great,
yeah.
Great.
So
can we start posting some of your videos on DTube?
Sure. I mean, you guys can post anything of mine anywhere. You guys, I'm not going to copyright you or anything.
I mean, for you to post on. Steemit.
Huh? Oh, wait, hold on.
As supplemental income.
Oh yeah, I do. I'm like live streaming on DLive, but I'm not worried about that stuff.
I understand. I'm just saying, because becoming an activist and trying to also pay all the bills at home, at least it can help out a little bit.
Yeah.
That way we can start upvoting you. We can start our own little Steemit club if we need to, and try to help to get you a little bit of extra money by re-steaming you.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that way you just post them, make a Steemit post, then link to your D-Link or your DLive. That way we can start upvoting you as well.
Okay. We'll talk about that. Right now, I just want to show people Nico House's tweet. He's trying to get H.A. Goodman, Hard Bastard, Susie, Elizabeth, Jamar Thomas, Jimmy Dore, and Lee Camp to DM him. So if you guys can get more retweets, if you guys can go ahead and DM H.A. Goodman, Hard Bastard, whatever, and tell that Nico House is trying to get them to
Can
DM.
you click on the little arrow on the right-hand side?
Copy link to tweet.
And then paste it into the chat for us?
Yeah. Good idea. So that's the tweet right there. Look at it.
Quotes.
Yeah. You know, you don't need quotes unless there's a space into it.
It adds a space. That's YouTube's way of blocking them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
YouTube's bastards.
Yeah, they found out that they could do that. We found our way to get around it.
All right, good to know. Anyways, I'll go ahead and tweet out to H.A. Goodman and all that Nico's trying to get their attention. So, all right.
If everybody could retweet this.
Yep, retweet it and DM if you can to any of those people. Just get their attention that Nico House is trying to get them to DM him. All right, I know you're already on it, Eric.
We're already on it.
All right. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ebon. I really appreciate it.
We'll do something light. I did want to also do like a restream, how to more of a tech, just how you guys can get on Zoom, restream on OBS to restream, and Facebook and Steemit and all that. So I'll try to do that this weekend as well.
Cool.
I know people are wanting to stream, so I don't want to get in the way of that. So, all right, I'll talk to everyone later on James's channel or Ryan's tonight too, if I get a chance. All right, thanks everybody.
Take care, everyone.